Conjunction. What do we mean by that? It is a word, or we can say it's a joining word. What does it join? If we have two different words and we have to join them, conjunction is the word which will join them. If we have two sentences, conjunction will join them. If we have two different phrases or two different clauses, then conjunction is the part of speech that will join them. So altogether, conjunction is a word which joins any part of speech or any part of the sentence. Suppose if I say, she is a smart girl, and the next sentence is, she is an intelligent girl. So here, she is the common word and we need to tell that smart and intelligent both are used for she only. So what we can do is, she is smart and intelligent. So smart and intelligent are clubbed together and they are joined with a word that is and. So and becomes a conjunction in this sentence. So if I give you a sentence, she is her friend, so she helps her. So in this sentence, you have two different sentences. She is her friend and the other one is she helps her. And we are joining both these sentences with a word which is so. And so becomes a conjunction here. So altogether, conjunction is a word which functions as a joining word between two words, phrases or two sentences. Now if we talk about the types of conjunctions, we have three different types. And what are these three different types? We have subordinating conjunction, we have coordinating conjunction, and the last one is correlative conjunction. Now what is the difference between subordinating, coordinating or correlative conjunctions? Subordinating means when we have two sentences dependent on each other. So what we join is joins two dependent sentences. For example, if I say, I shall read this book. First sentence, I shall read this book, and the next one is, you recommend it. Now, if we write these two sentences separately, just read the second sentence, you recommend it. Now, where is it used or why is it used? For what purpose is it used? It is used for the book here, isn't it? That means if we do not write the first sentence and we just write the second sentence, you recommend it, it won't complete its meaning. Why? Because the pronoun used here is for the book only. So what we need to do is, I shall read this book if you recommend it. So here what happens is, if becomes what? If becomes the conjunction that joins two dependent sentences, right? If we talk about coordinating, it means it joins the two independent sentences. Now what do you mean by independent sentences? Such sentences which can convey their meaning even after writing them separately. For example, Ram is intelligent. Do you find this sentence incomplete in any case? No, it's complete. Similarly, if I write, Sham is intelligent. Do you find this sentence incomplete? No, it's complete as well. But if we write the first sentence, or rather if we write the second sentence without the first sentence, will it complete its meaning? Sham is intelligent. Yes, it will. If we don't write the second sentence and just write the first sentence, Ram is intelligent, will it complete its meaning? Yes. That means these are two independent clauses, and when we join two independent clauses, the word used here will be a coordinating conjunction. Like Ram and Sham are intelligent. So what is it? And is the word which join two independent sentences, two independent clauses, and this is a coordinating conjunction. The last that you have is correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunctions are always used in pairs. And what are these? We can have either with or. We can have neither with nor. We can have indeed with but. We can have not only but also. Or similarly, we can say although, yet, though, comma. All these are correlative conjunctions which are used in pair. Fine. Now, after discussing the meaning and classification of conjunctions, now we'll discuss the rules related to conjunctions. Now see, whenever we talk about a conjunction, we have a separate sentence structure for each and every conjunction. So that's what we are going to discuss here and what kind of verb will be placed with them. Fine. So the first goes like this. If we use hardly, barely, or scarcely in a sentence, there is a condition that it will only follow when with it. And where do we use hardly, barely, scarcely? We can only use it when we have to show there is a certain time gap between two tasks performed. When there is a time gap between two tasks. When you have two tasks performed and there is a time gap between the two, then you use hardly, barely, scarcely, and it is very much compulsory that you use only and only when with it. There is a condition where you use than with it, which is incorrect. Fine. Now let's talk about the sentence structure of this. If we use hardly or barely or scarcely in a sentence, after that, you will place had. Fine. After this, you will place subject 1. After this, we will place the first action. And this first action will be related to the first subject. After this, what you will place is the correlative conjunction, that is when. After when, you will place the second subject. And after this, what you'll have is the second action. And this second action is related to the second subject. So this is the sentence structure that follows when you want to show that there is a short time gap between the two tasks performed. Now let's take an example for this. If I write hardly had I finished the decorations than the guests started coming. Now, if you look at this sentence, what is there? You have placed at first hardly, which is there. Now, you can either use hardly, barely, or scarcely, right? After that, you should place had, which is correct. Then you should have placed a subject, that is I, which is again correct. And then the first action which needs to be performed by the subject. And here the action is finished the decorations. And who finished it? Subject 1. Then you have placed than. And this is the error that you have made. You shouldn't be placing than. Instead of this, what you need to place is when. Right? After that, you will place the subject 2, which is the guests. And after that, the second action which is performed by the guests, what did they do? They started coming. Now the next rule that we have is related to no sooner. And when we talk about no sooner, there is a condition. You will always use than with it in the sentence. Now, as I told you, when there is a short time gap between the two tasks performed, then you use hardly, barely, scarcely with when. But when you have two tasks and both are done simultaneously, which means together, then you use no sooner than. Two tasks performed simultaneously. In this condition, what do you use? No sooner than. And what is the sentence structure that we use? The sentence structure that follows is no sooner, and with no sooner, you can write do, does, did, or had. After this, you will place your first subject, then your first action. After that, you will place what? What did I tell you to place with no sooner? It is than. and after that you'll place your second subject, with that the second action. And mind it, when I write first action, it is related to the first subject, and when I write second action, that is related to the second subject. Now let's take an example. No sooner did the police arrived when the thief fled. Now, can you tell me what are the errors in this sentence? Mind it, I said what are the errors. That means there is more than one error in this sentence. No sooner did the police arrived when the thief fled. Here you can see we have placed no sooner starting a sentence, which is correct. After that you have placed did with it, which is again correct. Then you said the first subject was police. That is also correct. Then you wrote arrived. Can you tell me, is there any error in this sentence still here? Yes, there is, and you are right. What is the error? When we place did, the verb's form should be in first form. So what we'll write is, no sooner did the police arrive when the thief fled. Again, there's one more error in this sentence, and what's the error? We will not place when with it. Rather, what is placed? We'll place than here. And the sentence continues like, than the thief fled. Now the next rule that we have is neither nor. Now can you tell me where is neither nor used? When we have two different conditions and when you have to negate both. That means when you have two conditions or two subjects and you have to say no to both of them, in that condition you use neither nor. So what do we use? When we have to negate both. One more condition, you cannot use neither nor for more than two. Cannot be used for more than two. It will only be used for two subjects, two conditions, but not for more than two, right? Now, what is the sentence structure used in neither nor? We always follow neither plus subject 1, then the first action. After that, we'll place nor, then the subject 2, and then the second action. Now, these actions doesn't mean that you'll only write the verbs in it. It can be their adjectives as well. For example, Rahul is neither smart nor intelligent. Now here you can see we have one single subject, Rahul, isn't it? And after that you have two adjectives for it, smart and intelligent. And both are used for Rahul only, and you have to negate both. That means Rahul is not smart and not intelligent. So what we can use is, we can use neither nor. So if we have a conditional sentence, then we can use it like this as well. Apart from this, we can also write like this. Neither he comes to my house, nor he speaks to me. Now this sentence is used as per your sentence structure. Like, what did I tell you to write? Neither. Neither is mentioned here, right? Then I told you to write the subject 1, which is there. Then I told you to write the first action, which is there, comes to my house. Then I told you to write nor, which is also there. Then I asked you to write subject 2, which is again he. It is mentioned there. Then I asked you to write second action. And when I said second action, it is there, speaks to me. So there are two conditions. If you want to mention neither nor in the middle of the sentence, you can do it that way. And if you want to start the sentence with neither nor, you can do it that way as well. So it can be used in between the sentence and in the beginning of the sentence as well. Now the fourth one that we have is either or. Like neither nor said that we have to negate both. Either or says we will choose one from the two. That means the condition follows with this as well, cannot be used for more than two. And either or is used where? Where you have two conditions, two subjects, and you need to choose one from the two. Choose one from the two. What is the sentence structure? Again, this can be either used in the beginning of the sentence or used in the middle of the sentence, right? So I'll give you one sentence structure that says either plus subject 1 plus first action, then or after that subject 2 and then the second action. If I want to write a sentence, likewise a sentence structure, then what I do is, now the sentence is either he will come to the party or his brother. Now what you have here is either placed as it is, then you have subject 1 which is again there, then you have the first action will come to the party. Then you have or which is again there, then you have subject which is his brother, and the subject was, or rather the verb was similar, so there is no need to repeat it. You can write it like this, either he will come to the party or his brother. Or you can write it like this as well. Rahul is either rich or honest. Now here either is used in the middle of the sentence which says subject is Rahul, and we are talking about Rahul. Two adjectives are given over here, rich and honest, and you have to choose from both of them and you have to choose one from them, which means either he is rich or he is honest. He cannot be both, he will be either rich or honest. Now as we saw, when we have to negate both, we use neither nor. When we have to choose one from the two, then we use either or. But what is the condition for if I want to accept both, then what we can use? We can either use both or we can use as well as. Now be very particular about this. When we use both, we need to mention and with it. And while using as well as, we do not mention anything with this, right? Now there will be a condition where both and as well as will be given together in a sentence, and that will be incorrect. You can either use both with and or you can use as well as. But both are used for the same reason, to accept both. When we have two, same thing follows with this as well. Cannot be used for more than two. It cannot be used for more than two. So when we talk about two, it will be accepted both parts, right? Now, if I say both will be used in a sentence, the sentence structure will be both plus subject 1 plus and plus subject 2, and if there is a sentence following it, it will be mentioned. But if I want to use as well as, we will write the subject 1, then as well as, and after that we will use subject 2, and then can be the following sentence. But you need to take care of two things. When we use both and, then we use a plural verb with it. You've already studied this, if you remember, in subject verb agreement, isn't it? Now if we use as well as, the verb used here will be according to the, which subject? First subject. Yes, you are right. And which is the first subject here? This is the first subject, right? Now let's take some examples to understand this. If I say red as well as blue are attractive colors, will you say that this sentence is correct? Red, one subject, blue, second subject, joined by as well as are attractive colors. Here you can see we have placed are, which is incorrect. Why? Because the verb should be according to first subject and it is singular. So the word should also remain singular. Again, if I write both India as well as Pakistan are developing. Now can you tell me the sentence is correct or incorrect? Both India as well as Pakistan are developing. Here we have in India. The second subject is both, joined by as well as, and again we have placed both also. Now if we have such condition that we have both and as well as given together in a sentence, we will look at the verb before changing. Now the verb used here is are, which means it will be incorrect if I use as well as and remove both. Why? Because if I place as well as, the verb should be according to the first subject and it is singular. So this should be singular as well. And we cannot change two errors in a single sentence, isn't it? So what we do is we will just remove as well as and place and, which will make the sentence correct. And the correct sentence will be both India and Pakistan are developing. Next that we have is until or unless. If we talk about until is always time oriented. And if we talk about unless, it's always action oriented. Right? If we want to have a timing, then we use until. And if you want to have an action after it, you will use unless. But both, there is a condition. Not, will, would and shall are not used after them. Which means you will not place not, will, would or shall after until or unless. If I say until you work hard, you will not succeed. Now here you have seen until is used and after that the sentence that follows will never has what? Not, will, would or shall. But the sentence following or which is the other condition, you can have will, would, shall not with it, right? So is this sentence correct if I place until here? Next that you have is unless the light turns red, no one will move. Now what is the sentence given here? We have placed unless and after that you have placed the light turns red. What does it mean? You have a time oriented with something and you said until the light turns red, which means you have a point of time given somewhere. So when it's time oriented, you cannot write unless, instead you'll write until. And if you look at the first sentence, it says until you work hard. Now here you have to do something. That means it's an action oriented sentence and which will not use until, instead you'll use unless here. So until and unless are very confusing, but you'll not use a negative word after them and you'll not use will, would or shall after them in the sentence following it. Afterwards, you can use it. But make sure that until always uses time orientation and unless always uses action orientation. Now the next thing that you have is lest. L-E-S-T, lest. And after that, you again have otherwise. Now see, both of these are used to show what? To show warning. But what is the difference? When you place lest, after this we will place should, always. But if we place otherwise, there will be will only in the sentence. But both are used to show warning only, right? If I say, if you do not run fast, you will miss the train. Now, can you see here that we are presenting a warning here, isn't it? Now, this sentence can be written with the help of lest, should or otherwise will. For example, lest you walk fast, lest you may miss the train. Now, by the time I write the second sentence, you need to tell me, is there any error in the second sentence? Walk fast, otherwise you will miss the train. Now see, both the sentence or other three of these show warning, but the usage is different, isn't it? When I used if, we also used a negative word here. But when we use lest or otherwise, we need not use a negative word, right? But there is an error in this sentence, and what is the error? Walk fast lest you may isn't placed. We place should. So what is the correct sentence? Walk fast lest you should miss the train. Or walk fast otherwise you will miss the train.